Yeah, so now I see his.
Hey lovelies, Spalti here. By now you hopefully have watched the anchor chart that Mr. June created for you. I'm going to go over some examples to solve our volume and surface area of a couple shapes. First one I have here is a cube. It's broken up into the net. These worksheets can be found, remember, online. You can try them on your own first, or you can pause the video at any time and try to work it out on your own. Make sure that you label all of your materials. So I have a cube, all my sides are the same. This is a 6 here, 6 centimeters. So our volume formula, remember, is length times width times height. Since they're all 6, I'm going to do 6 times 6 times 6. Looking at the net, remember you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares, which will come in handy when we talk about our surface area. So 6 times 6 times 6 gives me 216 centimeters cubed. Remember, we use units cubed whenever we are working with volume. For my surface area, since I have 6 squares, I'm going to need to make sure that I break up the area for 6 squares, or I can use 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. So I'm going to do 2 times 6 times 6 plus 2 times 6 times 6 plus 2 times 6 times 6. 2 times 6 times 6 is going to give me 72 plus 72 plus 72 works out to 216 centimeters squared. Area is going to be squared, so surface area stays units squared. For my next shape here, I have a rectangular prism. I'm going to find the surface area and volume for this. Remember, our volume formula is length times width times height for any cube or rectangular prism. So when I label it, I can use this as my length, I can use this as my width, and this is my height. It doesn't matter which you label as long as you plug them in correctly. So I'm going to do 10 times 7 times 5. When I do 10 times 7 times 5, I get 350 inches cubed. Units cubed goes for volume. For my surface area, once again, that's 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. So when I plug them in, I'm going to do 2 times, I use 10 for my length and I use 7 for my width, making sure that I plug them in correctly, plus 2 times, once again, 10 for my length and 5 for my height, plus 2 times 7 for my width and 5 for my height. 2 times 10 times 7 gives me 140, plus 2 times 10 times 5 gives me 100, plus 2 times 7 times 5 gives me 70. Plugging them all in, I get 310 inches squared. The last two that I'm going to show you are a triangular prism. For my triangular prism, when I'm working out for my volume, I'm going to do big B times big H. Remember, big B stands for the area of the base, and big H stands for the height of the entire object. So big B, I have a triangle, so this is base times height divided by 2 times the height of my whole object. So the base and the height of my whole thing goes from one base to the other. So when I plug this in, I'm going to do 5 times 12 divided by 2 times the height of my whole thing, which is 9. When I plug this in, I get 30 times 9, which ends up giving me 270 centimeters cubed. For my surface area for a triangular prism, remember we can break this up into the objects in which it has. So when I break this up, I have 2 triangles and 3 rectangles, 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So when I work this out, finding the area of them and then combining them, I'm going to do for my triangle, base times height divided by 2. So I'm going to do 12 times 5 divided by 2. I'm going to do that twice because I have 2 of them. 12 times 5 divided by 2 gives me 30. I have 3 rectangles. None of them are the same, however. So when I break them up, I'm going to do base times height for my formulas. So I'm going to do, for this one here, it is 5 times 9, which gives me 45. For this one, I'm going to do 13 times 9, which gives me 117. For my last rectangle, I'm going to do 12 times 9, which gives me 108. Adding them all together, I'm going to do 30 plus 30 plus 45 plus 117 plus 108. Adding all these together, I get 330 centimeters squared. Looking at my last problem, I'm going to have a pyramid, a triangular pyramid, because the base is a triangle, so it is a triangular pyramid. For my volume formula, big B times big H divided by 3. It's in thirds. It is a third of what a rectangular prism would be, so that's why we divide it by 3. The base is a triangle, so that's base times height divided by 2 times the height of my whole figure, all divided by 3. So the base of this triangle here is 6 times the height is this dashed line, making that 90-degree angle, 5.2 divided by 2 times the height of my whole figure goes all the way down, making that 90-degree angle, giving me 10, all cut into thirds. When I work this all out, I get 52 inches cubed. Looking at the surface area for this, it is broken up into 4 triangles. All my triangles are different though. Remember, base times height divided by 2. So for this triangle here, I'm going to do 6 times 5.2 divided by 2, which is going to give me 15.6. For my next triangle here, I'm going to use 6 because it's an equilateral triangle. So 6 times 10 divided by 2. All these outside triangles are the same because it's an equilateral triangle as my base. So 6 times 10 divided by 2 and 6 times 10 divided by 2, because there are 3 of them, giving me 30. Adding them all together, 15.6 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 ends up giving me a surface area of 105.6 inches squared for my surface area. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and it helped you solve these questions that we have for you, and hopefully these will help you prepare for your assignment that will be posted on Friday. Enjoy!